following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
Coming up on News 3 Live at 4, vandals leave their mark on a WIU sign, leaving behind pricey damage.
Plus, News 3 shows you what it means to be a Macomb bombshell.
And later, a new way to bring in revenue at WIU. Student government has some ideas about how to bring in funds during the state budget impasse. And that's where we begin, with state budget impasse coverage. The student government at Western Illinois University is responding to the state's 9-month lack of funding. Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4.
The first ever State of the Student Address took place on Wednesday in Sherman Hall with a packed auditorium filled with students, faculty, and community members.
SGA members say they hope this event dispels rumors and assures students WIU is doing what they can despite the state's lack of funding to higher education.
The fight isn't here. It's not at Western. It's not, administration versus faculty or other employees. It's Springfield. They needed to get their act together. They need to pass a complete state budget that appropriately funds higher education as a whole. I want them to know that they have a dog in this fight. Right? Their education might be at stake.
SGA's president Will Gradle spoke to the crowd that turned out for the speech. He says WIU isn't the only one that's hurting due to lack of funding. He says the local community is also nervously waiting to see how the budget situation pans out.
The economic impact of Western Illinois University is vast on this region, and so you have a lot of community members and community businesses worried about what happens when $50 million is cut from, one of the largest employers in the region.
The Western Illinois University Board of Trustees is considering a proposal that could affect student costs. The board will have a closed session meeting tonight at 7 p.m. and then will hold an open meeting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It will consider cost guarantee recommendations for undergraduate and graduate students entering in fall of 2016. This guarantee is in regards to room fees and meal plans. In the midst of budget crisis, SGA members are not only taking action by hosting a State of the Student Address, but also passing a bill they hope will bring in revenue. SGA passed a bill on Tuesday to push the Naming Opportunities Committee to investigate changing the naming rights process. Buildings like Western Hall, the Multicultural Center, and the University Union, along with other venues, were on that list. One senator says if a building is worth $40,000, the naming rights should be $20,000. SGA says it hopes the bill will persuade donors to contribute funds in exchange for their name on a building.
Southern Illinois University's president says the school will be hit hard if Governor Bruce Rauner's proposed 20% cut to public higher education passes for the next fiscal year. An email from President Randy Dunn said more than 180 employees could be let go and 400 classes canceled at the Carbondale campus. More than 300 student jobs could also be cut, as well as $200,000 in funding for WIS-IU TV. Men's and women's tennis teams would also face elimination. The Office of Public Safety is seeking information about who vandalized the Alumni House. OPS says someone attempted to remove the letter E from the building on West Adams Street early Wednesday morning. The sign is repaired now, and the value of each letter is $1,300. WIU Foundation is offering a $500 reward to anyone who has information leading to the arrest of those responsible.
Mosaic is facing 2 burglary investigations this week. Police say on Tuesday employees at Mosaic reported $20 missing from their office. When they arrived Wednesday morning, a burglary happened again. This time, drawers were open and more money was missing. Police did not find any signs of forced entry, but believe a window may have been pushed open. Both incidents are still under investigation. Employees at the Fraternal Order of Eagles Club are upset over damage to their property. Officials say four gambling machines at the club were damaged overnight. The damage is estimated at $800. Officials are still investigating the incident. Two men are facing drug charges in Macomb. Tyshawn Harris and Marcel Riddell from Chicago were arrested early Wednesday. Police say cannabis, digital scales, drug paraphernalia, and money were found inside the 700 Linden Lane apartment. The raid was then moved to 1509 West Jackson Street. Police say cannabis, digital scales, drug paraphernalia, as well as prescription pills and 2 handguns were found inside. Macomb's police chief and McDonough County Sheriff said the investigation is ongoing and more arrests are expected in the future.
And as students head home for spring break, the Office of Public Safety and the residence halls have a few tips they want you to know. News 3's Brody Waddell has more.
Obviously, the most common mistake you'd make was not locking your windows or your doors. A locked window or a locked door is going to keep somebody from having an easy target as they approach a residence.
In preparation for spring break, there are several things the Office of Public Safety suggests for WIU students to keep their houses and dorms safe.
This is to make sure that the devices, the important devices that are left in the residence, the serial numbers are written down, so that if in the event that something does become stolen, it makes it easier to recover for the police. I would also say that it's important to take those devices, laptops, anything that's transportable, take those with you. Always better to have them with you as opposed to leaving them someplace unchecked for 7 days.
In addition, the halls urge students to attend the spring break floor meeting, remove all Sodexo items, and don't forget to empty the rooms of all trash to avoid a fine. And for those leaving their cars, make sure they are locked and valuables are removed. For WIU News 3, I'm Brody Waddell.
OPS also urges students to drive safely and with caution.
A triathlon is coming to Macomb this April, but with a twist. Macomb's first ever extreme triathlon, also known as an X-Tri, will be held Saturday, April 30th at Spring Lake. Triathloners will swim 400 yards, mountain bike over 8 miles of rough trails in the woods, and finish with a 2.5-mile trail run. In order to maximize safety for the inaugural event, organizers are limiting registration to just 20 participants. They are accepting applications from now until April 15th. The Best Buddies chapter at WIU is hosting a spaghetti dinner fundraiser Wednesday, March 23rd. The Best Buddies is a national nonprofit organization that benefits people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. A Western Illinois news release says tickets are $5 in advance and $7 at the door. The event will be held at the Macomb American Legion from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
And there's one team here in Macomb that takes female power to a whole new level. I strapped on a helmet and went to the outskirts of town to get some first-hand experience into the game of roller derby.
Intense, fun, and intense again.
Those 3 words describe roller derby. This age-old sport has been around longer than color television, and it appeared here in Macomb back in 2012. Roller derby isn't just another form of exercise. For some members, it's a great way to take a break from reality.
It's almost like being a superhero, like you have an alter ego. And, you know, I leave work and I take off my khakis and then I come here and I'm like ready to hit people and tear it up.
Roller derby isn't just for the skating pros. Even newbies like myself can put on the skates and give it a roll.
We won't laugh at you. There's a lot of girls that have never skated before that come and play. There's girls that have skated their entire lives and they realize it's a lot harder than just regular skating, so just come out and try it.
There is no prerequisite to join derby. The Macomb Bombshells are willing to include anyone who's simply willing to participate and have fun doing so.
People from all walks of life. I'm a CNA and an EMT and I play derby. I know people that are teachers. I know people that are artists. Derby is really for everybody.
Derby has changed a lot in the past years. What started out as a mere show has transformed into a legitimate sport with rules and regulations. Even with all these changes, some members still feel there's a stigma that follows them.
There's a lot of people who call us, excuse my language, but like strippers on skates, because a lot of us like to wear like fishnets in our outfits. It is a lot of endurance. There's a lot of leg strength. When I first started, I hadn't played sports for a couple of years and I was getting back into it and I thought I was going to die because my legs hurt so bad. It's definitely not as easy as it looks.
If you are interested in joining the Bombshells, you can join them during their fresh meat practices held every Sunday evening at the outskirts. If you want to support the Bombshells, their first game will be held at the outskirts on April 9th. 40% of the proceeds will go to WIU's Veterans Club. And personally, I've strapped on the skates. You saw me there. Wasn't that great, but it was a lot of fun, so I'd advise you to go.
The WIU Livestock Center is a temporary home for more than 60 bulls this week. The 44th annual performance-tested bull sale is tomorrow at 7 p.m. The bulls arrive at WIU in October and reside there until the sale in March. Students from a variety of classes learn from the bulls. Buyers registration starts at 5 p.m. and they are welcome to view the bulls and talk to breeders early. Students and faculty will have the chance to see a real T-Rex and a life-size reconstruction of a Tully monster. The 36th annual Geoland Earth Science Club's Rock, Gem, Mineral, and Fossil Show will be held this weekend. Events include a documentary about a renowned gem mine in California and tours of the WIU Geology Museum. Mineral, fossil, and jewelry dealers will also be on hand.
WIU will be hosting a community youth arts program. The program will be held on Sundays throughout the month of April. Classes will take place from 1 to 4 p.m. in Garwood Hall. Classes will be split up by age. The classes are put on by the WIU Art Education Program and require pre-registration. Still coming on Alive at 4.
Sanders and Clinton go head-to-head in the Democratic debate. We have the recap coming up.
And later, celebrating Nancy Reagan's life. We'll give you an inside look at the former First Lady's funeral. Next.
To eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Now from Macomb in high definition, you're watching Brianna Descoret, Jose Gonzalez, Storm Team 3's 5-day outlook, and sports with Eric Sutera. Live at 4 continues.
The public has one last chance to pay respects to former First Lady Nancy Reagan before her private funeral tomorrow. Her body will lie in repose for a second day at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Salmon Valley, California. Thousands of well-wishers attend a closed casket public viewing Wednesday. She will be memorialized Friday in a service complete with a band, chorus, and about 1,000 invitees. Former President George W. Bush and his wife Laura, First Lady Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Rosalind Carter will all attend.
Police in central Illinois are trying to identify a man found dead on a baseball field. The remains were discovered in Pontiac, Illinois by some high school baseball players. Police are trying to figure out if the deceased man is connected to a missing persons case where an 80-year-old disappeared from his home.
You know, we've done a lot of interviews and we just haven't uncovered anything that leads us to believe anything other than a walk away at this point. Now we'll let the investigation lead us where it goes, but that's what we have.
The missing man is Lois Lowry. Police say he left home without a wallet or cell phone. Authorities say they haven't given up on finding Lowry.
Hillary Clinton and Senator Bernie Sanders resumed their battle for presidency. During the Democratic debate, Clinton called out Bernie for supporting a bill that will bail out the auto industry in Michigan. Clinton said he retracted his vote only after finding out it would help bail out Wall Street.
I will stand terms of my political career, fighting for workers, fighting for the poorest people in this country. Madam Secretary, I will match my record against yours any day of the week.
Sanders said the larger bailout measure did nothing did nothing but help Wall Street for what he called its illegal behavior. Wednesday night's debate comes as Clinton and Sanders prepare for critical primaries next week in Florida, Ohio, Illinois, and Missouri.
And when we come back, Storm Team 3's Devin Biggs has your weekend forecast.
My favorite thing about WIU is how much we work as a team. Everyone here has helped immensely, and when we work together, the outcome is amazing. Producing for the newscast, writing for the newscast, going to City Council every Monday. It's something that I've learned that it takes a team. There's no such thing as an I. If there's an I, then we know that something's going to go wrong. I really do believe WIU has prepared me for the outside world. I can't wait to see where I end up. I have to thank everyone that has been involved. You know, Jasmine Creighton, she has managed to help me overcome that scary part. And the way that you have a great show is not the content that you have, it's the people who you work with. And here at WIU, I have had a chance to work with some excellent people.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Welcome back to Live at 4. It has been a cloudy and dreary day here across the Tri-States region, but temperatures have been held down a little bit because of that. 54 degrees in Burlington, 55 in Keokuk, but here in Macomb it is 53 degrees at this hour. Pan out those temperatures and take a look at the Midwestern region. 54 in Des Moines, 53 in Davenport, 47 in Chicago, where it's a little bit cooler at this hour. Your almanac page for today, March 10th, 2016, 47 to 27 is our average for this time of year. We've been above average lately, so those have been some very nice temperatures. We won't hit the record of 74 degrees set back in 1976, but thankfully we won't hit the record low of 10 below set back in 1913. Sunrise for today was at 6:22 with sunset at 6:37 p.m. tonight. Your Midwest weather tracker, you can clearly see where the cold front is as we see this big long stretch of precipitation moving on to the east-northeast, but all to the west right now, and where we're at, not much precipitation to speak of at this hour, so if you're going to head on out tonight, just make sure to grab a light jacket. It's going to be a little chilly out, but nothing too horrible that we put up with this winter with some pretty chilly temperatures. Your temperatures for tonight, 39 degrees in Des Moines, Kansas City at 48, and Joplin at 43. Your temperatures for tomorrow, Davenport will be at 60, 59 in St. Louis, and 52 degrees in Chicago. The temperatures for tomorrow night, Indianapolis will be 48, Louisville will be at 54, and St. Louis will be at 52. Your forecast for tonight here in Macomb, it'll be mostly clear with a low of 37, with winds out of the north at 5 miles per hour. Your forecast for tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 65, with winds will be out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And your NEWS3 exclusive 5-day forecast shows that beautiful day on Friday with a high of 65, and we'll cool off a little bit on Saturday with a high around 64 as rain chances move back in. Don't forget to set your clocks forward an hour on Saturday night into Sunday as daylight saving time begins, and thunderstorm chances will also be possible on Sunday with a high of 66, 69 on Monday with rain chances left over. But look at Tuesday, 72 with gradual clearing, and we may have to raise those temperatures, so stay tuned as we take a look at that. Back to you, Jose and Anna Malay.
Thanks, Devin. You know, with such warm weather, I'm sure the tennis players will greatly enjoy the sun.
Yeah, they'll be in Galesburg this weekend, guys. And coming up in sports, the Lennox softball team is getting ready for the Jayhawk Invitational this coming weekend in Lawrence, Kansas. The Lennox women's tennis team's nominee for the Summit League Player of the Week may have received the honor for the second time in her career. At D1, two-sport student athletes are hard to find nowadays. Western's baseball team has two that have taken on the challenge. Hear how they do it next in sports.
Have any other time? I want to save it for
Good. Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one, it's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes in your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think, though? Arm or the butt?
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning? Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Don't worry. The 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Welcome back to Live at 4. Following their games against Green Bay and IUPUI this past weekend, the Leatherneck women's tennis team posed a candidate for the Summit League Player of the Week. On Tuesday, Courtney Lubers earned the honor after picking up 2 wins in the weekend series. This is the second time she has received this honor in her career. You can catch Lubers and the women's tennis team this weekend as they host Missouri State on Saturday, March 12th in Galesburg. Start time for the match is at noon. Western Illinois softball heads to Lawrence, Kansas for the Jayhawk Invitational March 11th through the 13th. They're coming off a 3-1 series at the Miami Invitational in Ohio last weekend. They will take on Kansas, Kansas City, and Northern Iowa this weekend starting tomorrow against Kansas at 4:30. Being a student athlete can be very demanding, but being a two-sport student athlete demands even more. Let's take a look at how 2 baseball players are able to manage this. Being a two-sport athlete in a D1 school is very hard to do. 2 freshmen, Steve McShane and Justin Fitzpatrick, have decided to take on the challenge. Being football players for one season and baseball for the other, transferring between 2 sports has not been easy.
That was kind of hard. You know, our football is very physical, and transferring from that and going to a more calm and laid-back sport, you know, it's kind of hard doing that.
It was rough at first. You know, you have to get back in the swing of things. It's pretty hard since baseball is such a technically sound sport. You really have to get back in the swing of things with your swing and your throwing and everything. So it was rough at first, but now that we're starting to pick it up, getting in the 4th week of the season, it's starting to smooth out a little bit.
As a running back and a defensive back on the football team, these players have found a way to use their football skills to help their baseball skills.
Actually, playing in the outfield, you know, it goes over and transfers a lot. You got to have a lot of speed, you got to be physical, and you got to have hand-eye coordination, be able to catch the ball.
I like to consider myself a coachable player, so it's easy for me to learn. I'm a quick learner. It's easy for me to pick up things and understand what the coaches are trying to tell me and everything. And obviously, me and Steve both, we're athletic guys, so we pick up things pretty easily, and I think that helps us on the field, on the baseball field and the football field.
One of the hardest things for a student athlete is balancing out school and athletics. But for Steve and Justin, it's just come natural to them.
Basically every day it's a process, you know. We go through lifting for football, and then baseball practice, we have that in the afternoon. So the athletic trainer, he tries to balance it out for us so it wouldn't be too hard on us. So
since I'm pretty much on a set schedule and everything, I really don't have a lot of free time to do whatever I want. So it's pretty easy since everything's on a set schedule. It's just one thing, back to back to back. So it's pretty easy.
Being freshmen in both sports, they have learned to adjust quickly from high school play to a more competitive level.
Transferring from high school to college, it was a lot of the speed in baseballs coming at you from a pitcher.
Yeah, well, obviously, like just like football, going to the next level, you have to account for the speed of the game, and just like football, baseball is exactly like that. The speed of the game is up, the competition level is up, and it's a lot harder hitting 90-mile-per-hour fastballs than hitting 75-mile-per-hour fastballs. So that's a big difference for me.
Baseball team takes a road trip down south this weekend and take on 14th ranked Arkansas starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. Their home opener at Alfred D. Boyer Stadium is only 8 days away on March 18th against North Dakota State. That's it for sports. Final word is next on Live at 4.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route. I am not fast. Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries. Low battery. Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips. You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route. I am not fast. Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries. Low battery. Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips.
Stories. They happen everywhere. At NEWS3, we go the distance and tell them firsthand. Across the region.
The tornado tore through a neighborhood in Washington, Illinois.
Across the state.
You're the state capitol in Springfield for the gubernatorial race.
Across generations.
We have a lot of people that are very dedicated. We're all volunteers.
The stories that inform us. The stories that move us. The stories that matter from a fresh perspective.
A happy day for this cute baby seal. After suffering injuries and going through 3 months of rehabilitation, she has been released back into the wild.
A seal pup named May L was found off the coast of British Columbia severely underweight and trapped with fishing line wrapped around her neck. The aquarium says her injuries are concerning because they were completely caused by human activity.
This tortoise is proving that selfies aren't just for people and aren't just for the young and hip either.
Allie, who resides in the Phoenix Zoo, is 80 years old. She's been here taking a selfie with her doctor, Gary West. West says Allie actually peeked into the camera, which prompted him to take the photo, which is, I think, absolutely adorable. And anytime there's cute animals on the show, it makes me all the happier for it, personally, because seals are so cute.
Oh,
and
tell me about it.
I know I shouldn't have one for a pet, but this part of me secretly wants one.
I mean, seals are like dogs, and I miss my dog, so I can't wait for spring break.
They are called seal pups. That's true. They're seal pups, so I guess you could say that they're dogs.
That's all right. My dog headbutted me today anyway, and I'm lucky I don't have a bruise on my forehead.
Oh,
So.
were you trying to do a selfie with him?
We can say that. Sure, we can say that.
All right. That's all from us today.
Thank you for joining. We'll be next week, and it will be after spring break.
For Devin Biggs.
I'm Anna Malay Zuniga.
And for Eric Satera, I'm Jose Gonzalez.
And for all of us at News 3, have a good night at home.